talk to you today about the Vaco-Ped boot for ruptured Achilles tendon. This is a boot that's available. It's quite expensive, it's £250. It's made by a company called Oped, OPED-UK.com. I think it's a terrific bit of kit, and I'm going to show you a bit of why. So the first thing is, on their website they've got the sizing, which is very confusing. They sort of have a foot size and a calf size. Well, I'm a shoe size of 10, and if you measure let's measure my good calf, that's probably more realistic, it's about 310. Well, if you look on their shoe sizing, 310 calf would be a size 2.5 to 6.5 shoe size. So there doesn't seem any correlation really, but you know, I went for a medium because I'm medium to large in everything else I wear. So I went for a medium and it fits fine, but the Velcro is really for a bigger calf. But my advice would be go on your shoe size. So let's have a look at the boot. So it has a liner in it. It has a liner in it that is full of beads, so it's a cosy liner, and then inside there's like a sub boot that has got apparently 20,000 beads in it, that when you extract the air they form a solid sort of to the shape of your foot. Now they give you two of these liners when they sell it to you, but they don't give you two of the inside, so you've got to take the beads from one to the other if you want to change. Okay, so basically it has two soles that come with it, a flat sole and a wedge sole, which is really good for walking when you're in a plantar position, because you're able to do that instead of shuffle. But when they sell it you, make sure they've included the wedge sole, because sometimes it's sold as an extra. So basically, if your toes are overhanging, there's a medium, maximum, minimum adjustment there. You can just adjust that. But what I want to really show you is this idea that the boot is 30 degrees in flexion downwards. You don't want to be in dorsal flexion, you want to be in plantar flexion, because where the two Achilles come together, you're trying to hold them together in the shortest possible way. You don't want elongated and you don't want them apart. So basically they work on a situation of either giving you wedges, and you take a wedge out every week and you go 30 degrees, 25 degrees, 20, eventually down to a neutral position. The beauty of this boot is it doesn't have any wedges at all. It has these adjustments here. So at week 1 there's a key that fits there. So at week 1 that would be at the top. This would be at the top, and it's locked in a 30-degree position, which is position number 3 shown there. And then the next week you'd come down maybe 1 or 2 notches, and if you wanted to keep it permanent you could do that, you'd be at 25 degrees. But there is a case for having a bit of movement, because the boot is there really to stop you suddenly lunging into any sort of upward dorsal flexion, which isn't going to happen. But that just allows a bit of ankle movement, which as the weeks go on, this will be like a piece of steel if you don't move the ankle a bit. At the end of the day, after a few weeks, the flesh is starting to join. It's not a china vase, it's not, you know, a break, it's flesh. So it's good to have this choice by this very clever mechanism where you're going to be. And if you feel there's too much movement but you still want some movement, you could move that down a bit. And basically it goes from 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1 neutral, and then it will actually go in a dorsal upright position, no doubt for a different type of injury. But I think it's very, very clever indeed. The key stands on there, you don't want to lose it. So basically, the line is going to go in there. You're going to put your foot in there. That goes over there. So that Velcro is good. But again, you can see that this is huge, the Velcro. But it doesn't really matter. Just squeeze it in, nice and comfy. That's the shell that goes on top. It's very important that these two wings go inside. I do the middle one first because that locates where the shell goes. That just locates in there nicely. Get the heel at the back, work from the bottom, and then you need to be pulling this up and pull that up so the heel is nice and clear and it's not bumpled up under the heel. Now then, in their own instructions here, they tend to show this outside, but if you've only got a small calf, that is going to stop it drawing in, so it's better to have these two bits outside, really quite important. That wants to be out of the way. If you do use a knee scooter, which are fantastic things, you just got to watch you don't damage that, but I didn't have any trouble. So then that on there, that on there. Okay, we then have this which extracts the air, leaving the beads around your foot. Now again, in the instructions it's very confusing, but what you're looking to do is take the top off there, pull the green bit out, that lets the air in and out, then you push that back, you have this bulb here, and this is not going to inflate it, this is going to deflate it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see it's not keeping its shape, it's now in a vacuum situation. So you pull that off, pull that on. Now I have to say, most of the time I haven't used that. I've found it a little bit concrete-like, and I've just used it without extracting the air, but that's entirely up to you. What I would say is you don't want to get these things, they want to be firm but not ridiculously tight. The consultant said to me a lot of people get blood clots, probably 40%, need to be on blood thinners, so I have to inject myself every day. If you're not on blood thinners, you might want to discuss it with your consultant because you don't want to be getting a clot. So now then, if you have to wear this in bed, it's great because you don't need any of these soles on, but you cannot walk on this without one of the soles. So all the time you're in plantar flex, that just clips on and your foot can just rotate as you move. Whereas again with this you'd have to shuffle forward, and then it starts to hurt the back of your knee and everything. Now then, talking of compensation of movement, this is called an even up, and I got this from Vaco-Ped, from oped.uk as well. That goes on there, and this is really good. Certainly makes you walk 1.5 inches taller, but the situation now is that your hips are going to be level, your knees are level, you're nice and good to go. That's for rainwater if you need it to put over that. You might want to just tighten these straps up the second time through, but you're good to go, and I think it's a fantastic boot, and you can walk quite well forward because it rocks, which I think is really useful. They gave me the Aircast Boot at the hospital. It's a good boot, but in my opinion this is by far superior, and if you've got to wear it for maybe 12 weeks, in my view, if you've got the money, you're better off with it. But I'm not paid to sponsor it or to speak well of it. I'm just trying to help you in your recovery of your Achilles tendon rupture. Good luck to you.